Hello, I'm Robert Lunte from the Vocalist Studio International, and I want to talk to you students of singing. Those of you that are surfing YouTube and looking to find answers, looking to find vocal tips, and trying to find a way to learn how to sing a little bit better. I want to thank you for watching my videos and encourage you to watch more of the TVS videos here at our channel. This particular lecture demonstration is about onsets and sirens. Onsets and sirens are key to building a great, powerful, coordinated voice. If you want to build and train a singing voice that is a high-performance phonation machine, then I highly advise that you learn what onsets are and you learn how to put them on the move with sirens. At the Vocalist Studio, we train a lot of onsets and a lot of sirens. It's a big part of our methodology. So let's get to it. What is an onset? Well, onset is just fancy voice lesson talk for the start, the beginning. So an onset is that first second or half a second of sound or phonation that we make when we're singing. So it would be an onset. Me. Okay? That's it. It's just the beginning. Now, an onset can be fantastic or it can be bad. It doesn't change the fact that it's still the beginning. But here's the key. Here's the lesson and why onsets are important. If the onset is good, if the technical components that are inside that onset that make up that sound are good, balanced, have great Foreman tuning, have proper vocal fold compression, a good embouchure position, a nice vowel, other technical components that you'll learn about in the 4 pillars of singing. If all of those technical components are balanced and calibrated and tuned together, then the vocal workout, the training, the phonation, and the singing that follows will inherit the value and the quality, integrity, balance, and tuning of that onset. On the other hand, if the onset is bad, if the technical components inside your onset package have problems, if the tuning isn't right, if you're not getting vocal fold compression, you don't have an open embouchure, your vowel is the wrong vowel, any of these physiological and acoustic technical components that you'll learn more about in TVS training, if they are not balanced and calibrated properly, then the phonation that follows, everything that follows, be it a workout or singing, will have problems. It will inherit those problems. So onsets are super important. We care a lot about the onset. In fact, in TVS, we actually will train you how to master 8 specialized onsets. These are unique onsets that you use to isolate certain muscle strengthening and certain muscle coordination movements. You will use these specialized onsets to troubleshoot problems in your singing as well. It's a really great technique. It's a fantastic idea, and I hope that you will take time to learn more about it in the 4 pillars of singing. But at the moment, let me just work with you on one particular onset that we use all the time here in TVS. One of our 8 specialized onsets is called the Quack and Release onset. It has a little bit of a funny name, but that's because the Quack and Release onset is characterized by quack vocal mode. Now, quack vocal mode is one of our 8 physiological modes that we use in TVS, and it is characterized by a hypercompression of the glottis. Now, what that means is the vocal folds are compressed very much, a hypercompression of the vocal folds. In fact, they're compressed so much you wouldn't use it for singing, all right? But the fact that we get that strong hypercompression in quack vocal mode means that we can use it for resistance training. We use quack vocal mode in TVS to help build strength and coordination for building vocal fold closure so that your phonations are not windy. So when you sing, you're not windy, okay? So we have a vocal mode called quack mode, characterized by a hypercompression of the vocal folds. It's not used in singing because you sound like a duck when you do it, but it is used in TVS training because it builds great strength, and we use it for resistance training. Now then, back to our quack and release onset. Our quack and release onset has a workflow. Training workflows are another thing that you'll learn about in TVS. A training workflow just simply is the sequential steps of any process. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. If we break up this quack and release onset into individual steps, workflow components, and then train that sequential work step sequence, you will build an amazing coordination and strength for your onset, which gives you an amazing onset, which will give you amazing phonations and the ability to sing. So then, the quack and release onset that I'm going to teach you right now is comprised of 6 steps, 6 sequential steps when you practice it. The first step is pretty simple. It's kind of a give me, it's a bluebird in the lap, as we say, is pitch. Okay, everything needs a pitch. So we're assuming that you have to be able to match the pitch. Ah, great, I get an A for matching pitch. The second component in the quack and release workflow is respiration. I have pitch, which is an acoustic component of my onset package, and the second component is respiration. That is a physiological component, technical component in my onset package. I have to blow wind. That's a no-brainer. That's just as obvious as pitch because of the singing voice is a wind instrument. We have to blow wind to play it. The third position, the third component in our quack and release workflow is resonant tracking. Resonant tracking. This is resonant tracking. Okay, or more formally known as a semi-occluded phonation. Now, with resonant tracking, you're going to put your lips together in a slight smirky smirk, and you're going to buzz. Don't hum. It's important that your resonant tracking doesn't do this. It's not a windy, woofy thing at all. In fact, it's buzzy, and you should feel a little bit of resonant energy at the touch point. That is to say, on your lips, you're going to feel a little bit of a vibration, a little bit of a tickle, and it's a little bit nasal as well. Now, don't freak out. I'm not going to teach you how to sing through your nose or how to sing nasal. It has nothing to do with singing and sounding nasal when you're singing. So let's do this again. I have 3 steps in my quack and release onset. First step is pitch. Second step is I'm going to blow wind. I need respiration. Those are easy. The third step is I'm going to modify into the semi-occluded phonation, or otherwise known as resonant tracking or buzzing, into the nasal consonant M. I won't hum it, I will buzz it. You will get vibration and tickle and resonant energy in your lips. Be sure to put your lips in a little bit of a smile, smirky smirk position. Again. Okay, when I do that, I feel a little bit of a tickle in my lips. Position number 4 in the quack and release onset. This is where we bring in the quack, okay? So check this out. It's pretty exotic. It's a little bit strange. What I'm going to do is I'm going to modify to a high and tight, hyper compressed, quacky me. All right? It's a little strange, but check this out. So the 4th step in my quack and release workflow sequence is modification to quack vocal mode. Here's where we see the quack vocal mode emerging in this onset. I'll do it again. Just go very horizontal on your lips, lots of teeth, and it's a highly compressed, quacky me. Listen one more time. The thinner you can make that quack and release me, the better. The more surgical or laser-like you can make it, the better it's going to serve you. Now, don't freak out. This sound, this quacky sound, me, it's not something we use in singing. It doesn't sound beautiful, but what it is it's a contraction of certain musculature inside your larynx that's building strength and bringing your vocal folds together so that when we eventually release here in this onset into the singing voice, you have good, strong, stable compression of the vocal folds. Now, the next step in the quack and release onset is you will shape your embouchure. If you look elsewhere on my YouTube channel, you'll see a video regarding the embouchure. Now, embouchure is fancy French for basically this. Okay, how we shape our jaw, our teeth, our lips, our tongue. It's the outside visual, facial, physiological components of our formant. All right? So then, I will shape my embouchure into a horizontal embouchure, and there are a couple details in the horizontal embouchure that we need to remember. Number one, you're going to drop your jaw. You got to drop your jaw. Number two, you want to show your canines, bite, lift the upper lip and upper lip, and show a bite. Okay, and three. Put the tip of your tongue against the back of the bottom teeth and assume the leveraged tongue position. The quack and release onset, step number 5, we will move into the embouchure. I will drop my jaw, bite, bring my tongue forward, and I will sing through the preferred training vowel, E-H, A as in eggs. Those are the first 5 steps of your quack and release workflow, onset workflow sequence. Okay, I'll do it again. Now, if you try this, make sure that you get your jaw down and you have a bite and you're showing canines on your embouchure. Messing up your embouchure is going to screw the whole thing up. You got to make sure you get a good embouchure. It's super important. Don't believe me? Watch my embouchure video. All right? Now, the next step, the 6th step in the quack and release workflow sequence is dampening the larynx. We're going to lower the larynx subtly, not dump it, but subtly lower the larynx, and in doing so, we're going to increase the resonant space in the vocal tract. That is to say, the open resonant space, above my vocal folds, in my pharynx, in my resonant cavities. That whole space gets a little bit more open when I lower my larynx. I get more resonant space. And like any instrument, when you increase the resonant space, you get a darker, warmer overtones. If you increase the resonant space of a violin, you get a viola, all right? The same principles work for the human voice. So what singers do, trained singers that know what they're doing, and coaches that know how to teach it, they work on helping their students to subtly dampen and lower the larynx to increase the resonant space in the vocal tract, and in doing so, it will produce a warmer, rounder, darker, more bluesy, more theatery, more sexy overtone. Okay? In particular, it will tune your formant to a very strong F1H2 tuning. First formant, second harmonic is amplified. Listen how, as I lower and dampen my larynx, the color, the sound color of the sound becomes warmer, rounder, more bluesy, more theatery. Did you hear that? I'll do it again. when I dampen my larynx and get that rounder, warmer, bluesier overtone in effect, I have tuned my formant. Tuning your formant is a very important thing. Advanced singers, advanced students of technique, and great voice coaches work with their students and teach them how to tune the formant, okay? By the way, if you're not dampening your larynx, if you don't learn how to get your larynx down, it doesn't matter what else you're doing in your techniques, you're probably going to have a very high risk of sounding like a duck. Your overtones will your formant tuning will be too bright because you don't have the space inside the vocal tract increased. Now, in particular, in regards to this larynx dampening and getting rounder, warmer overtones, everybody needs to learn to tune the formant like this, men and women. But I will say, women, ladies out there, you run a slightly bigger risk of sounding like a duck, of sounding too quacky if you don't learn to lower your larynx and increase the resonant space in your vocal tract, simply because the vocal tract for women is smaller than men. So you have a higher risk of amplifying higher harmonics in your formant, in your sound color, and as you go higher in frequency, many of you well know, you begin to sound like a choking, quacking duck. So if you want to stop sounding like a duck, all of you, men and women, one of the things you must do is learn to dampen your larynx and tune your formant. So then, one more time, my quack and release onset workflow sequence all the way through to the formant tuning. Great. Now those are the technical components that make up a high performance onset. That was an onset. It is high performance. Why? Because it's got a good formant tuning. I've got great vocal fold compression from the quack mode activation. I've got a good singing vowel. My eyes are open. Other things are involved that are making it a high performance phonation. Now, once you have crafted this high performance onset, you have all the balance, beauty, and integrity put together, then what we do in TVS is we then take that beautiful onset and we put it on the move. We put it on the move with Sirens. All of that balance, beauty, stability, and integrity that you crafted and shaped and calibrated and tuned at the onset then is put on the move. And the training then becomes, the game, so to speak, becomes how can you maintain the tuning and the calibrations as you push that phonation through the chaos of changing frequency. Now what that means is as I sing a higher note, okay? As we begin to go higher in frequency, all of that beautiful tuning wants to crap out. The vocal folds want to open up. The vowel wants to crap out to add to ugly sounding vowels. The larynx might want to pop back up. All these things want to spring out and not cooperate. So this becomes the training premise, so to speak. We onset, tune, and calibrate a beautiful onset in the first 2 or 3 seconds. Then we put the onset on the move with Sirens, okay? And we work to keep a beautiful, seamless sound color, seamless bridging through the vocal folds, of course, or through the passaggio, of course, into the head voice with full sounding sound color and tone and vocal fold compression for the purpose of creating one voice. Not 2 voices, but 1 voice. So now I will perform for you the quack and release onset with the sequence I just demonstrated for you to make sure everything's calibrated and tuned, followed by a slow and controlled octave siren. I will phonate from G3 to G4, which will put me squarely right through my vocal break, my vocal passaggio, the hard stuff. Here we go. But it won't be quite so hard because my onset is good. Top down. Hey! Now you may have noticed that my top onset wasn't a quack and release onset. It could have been, it would have been perfectly fine, but I chose to use another one of the specialized onsets that we talk about and train in TVS called the wind and release onset, coming in with an open glottis and a windy hey. Okay, I'm going to do this again. This time I'll go from a G sharp to a G sharp. I will use a quack and release onset on the bottom onset, and in the top onset I will come in with an open glottis and use another one of our TVS specialized onsets called the wind and release onset, which, by the way, the wind and release onset kind of helps remove constriction on high notes, guarantees a good deep heady placement, and also engages the respiratory system well. Gets your arpeggio game on. Here we go. Top down. From A3 to A4, quack release onset at the bottom, wind and release onset at the top. All right. Quack and release onset at the bottom, wind and release at the top. All right, so that is a demonstration of onsets and sirens, but not just any onset, not just any siren, but when you break down the anatomy of an onset and you have at your disposal specialized onsets that can teach you how to get the body and the muscle memory coordinated, calibrated, balanced, and acoustically tuned, then whatever follows will also reap the benefits of that onset. So, in summary, one of the most important and powerful training techniques and things that you can do to build strength and coordination for your voice, and if you train with me in my product, the 4 Pillars of Singing, you're going to do a lot of onsets and sirens, okay? Specialized onsets followed by sirens. So give this a try, and if you have any questions, send me an email or leave a comment, and I'd be happy to help you out with it. It's all specified and clarified in the product. And I wish you the best, healthy singing, and I look forward to being your coach.